Good evening, my dear fangs. Welcome back to the Cavern. I'm Kasahar, for those of you who are new here, the host of the channel. Tonight's review is the 2019 movie remake or reboot, The Grudge. There will be spoilers, so if you don't want anything ruined, you can stream it on Hulu. I'll admit I wanted to see it when the film first came out, but I was hesitant since I didn't know where they could go from the 2004 remake. I think it was 2004. I can't remember when that one came out with Sarah and Michelle Gellar. If you remember, let me know in the comments, because I think it was 2004. But anyways, I wasn't sure where they could go, especially since they had 2 and 3. And 3 was okay. 2 was much better, in my opinion. So I waited, hoping that the 2019 Grudge movie would come to streaming, but it never did until now. As some of you know, I'm a huge Japanese horror fan. I adore foreign horror movies over American, mostly because they tend to be very different due to the cultural difference, and their myths and legends are different too, which tend to make their way into the movies. Plus, lately, most American horror films seem to be religious-based, which is plain boring for me. Because there's only so much you can do with the subgenre, and most of it has already been done, so it's kind of redundant at this point. I miss the days of ghosts causing chaos rather than demons, which seems to be every haunted house film these days. So The Grudge is a nice change for sure in the swarm of demon possession films over the years. The 2019 Grudge movie begins by showing us viewers events leading to the 2006 story, which I didn't know until I did some research, because the movie bounces around between 2004, 2005, and 2006, which made it kind of confusing to keep track of what was happening. To top it all off, there are roughly 4 storylines going on at once, making it even worse in my opinion. So I'm going to explain the timeline briefly for those of you who have seen it and were confused as much as I was on what the hell was going on in this movie. So the movie starts in 2004. Live-in nurse Fiona Landers is seen in the beginning of the film leaving the residence of the Williams family in Tokyo. While on the phone with her coworker, Yoko, although she's just leaving a message because she can't get a hold of Yoko, Fiona explains that she is returning to America, during which she sees something making her more anxious to leave. Once back in her small hometown in Pennsylvania, she is reunited with her husband and young daughter, Melinda. However, the curse from Kayoko's home in Tokyo possesses Fiona, and she murders her husband and daughter before unaliving herself. Shortly after, real estate agents Peter and Nina Spencer learn that their unborn child has a high chance of being born with a rare genetic disorder known as ALD. Peter is working on selling the Landers home, unknowing that something has happened to the Landers family since no one has discovered their deaths yet. Hence why he visits the home of 44 Rayburn Drive. And there's also a lot of stress between the couple with all of this going on. While at the home, he stumbles across Melinda on the front porch and questions her about whether her parents are home. Melinda doesn't answer, and her nose starts bleeding horribly. So he brings her inside the home, but finds it empty. At this time, Peter is attacked by Fiona and Melinda's ghost, corrupting him by the curse. The possessed Peter returns home, where he murders Nina and their unborn child before dying in the bathtub, because he unalives himself. Detectives Goodman and Wilson investigate the Landers murders at this time. Goodman feels that there's something off with the house and doesn't enter the home, while his partner Wilson examines the scene. After which, Wilson starts to lose his mind. And we kind of see this over a few scenes until Wilson becomes hysterical after seeing the spirit of Fiona outside Goodman's car. At this point, he attempts to unalive himself, but he survives, leaving him disfigured and institutionalized, leading Goodman to stop investigating the case. In 2005, Faith and William Matheson, an elderly couple, move into the Landers home. Faith is suffering from dementia and a terminal illness. After the couple move in, Faith becomes infected by the curse and starts to see Melinda around the house, causing her sanity to rapidly decline. Her husband, William, unsure what to do, calls Lorna Moody, who is an assisted suicide consultant, for assistance. Lorna Moody explains how his wife's symptoms do not qualify her for assisted suicide, but offers to stay for a few days to offer William some assistance with his wife, because he has no idea what to do at this point. Lorna quickly becomes disturbed by the house and Faith's mental state, so she suggests to William that they leave the home since it's haunted. William reveals that he knows about the spirits and feels that the veil between the living and the dead is weaker on the property, bringing him comfort that maybe Faith will stick around too once she passes, so they can be together forever. The next day, Lorna discovers Faith has murdered her husband, causing Lorna to flee in horror, only to be attacked by the ghost of Sam in her car, causing it to crash and killing her in the process. Which finally leads us to the present time, well, the events of 2006, where rookie detective Muldoon moves to the town with her son Burke following the death of her husband. Goodman and Muldoon, his new partner, are called to the woods where Lorna's body has been discovered. Goodman shows signs of discomfort when they learn that Lorna was visiting 44 Rayburn Drive, since it was the home of the Landers and the Mathesons. And this reveals his suspicion that the house is cursed. Muldoon visits the house, discovering Faith and William's corpses. I shouldn't say corpses, because Faith is still alive. Faith is brought to a hospital where she commits suicide, unalives herself, after seeing Melinda's spirit. Muldoon continues investigating the case, causing her to become haunted by the Landers' ghosts. She visits Wilson in the asylum, who tells her that everyone who enters the home will become victims of the curse. Fearing she'll harm her son, Muldoon decides to try and burn the house down, during which she sees the events leading to Fiona murdering her family. At the last moment, as Muldoon is about to set the home on fire, she sees her son, only realizing it's not him, after he fails to repeat a phrase that he regularly use. She sets the house on fire, feeling the curse is broken. And this brings us to the end of the film. Muldoon is seen hugging her son Burke before he leaves for school, only to see the real Burke leaving the house. Muldoon realizes that the child she is holding is Melinda, and then is dragged away by Fiona's ghost, becoming the next victim of the curse. And that's it. The Grudge had some promise. It explained how the curse made its way to the United States and how it isn't tied to one location. The director focuses on the theme of how a grudge is like a virus and how it spreads and infects those that come in contact with it. Unfortunately, it doesn't offer anything new. We, the viewer, already know that fire doesn't work. There's no way to stop the curse. The only way to prevent yourself from being infected by it in the first place is to stay away from the houses. For those of you who have seen all the Grudge films, what are your thoughts? And I'm talking about the American remakes. How does this reboot fare in comparison to the others? Is it worse, or does it hold up fairly well in the franchise? If you're a fan of Japanese horror, how well does this compare to the Ju-on movies? Let me know in the comments below. Next week, I'll be reviewing the movie The Stranger, which is available to stream on Hulu. Fair warning, there is another movie with the same name, but is completely different. How you can tell the difference between the two is The Stranger came out this year, whereas the other one I think came out in 2022 or something like that. Stranger on Hulu is about a young woman who moves to LA to pursue a career in writing but works for a rideshare service. A routine ride turns into a nightmare. A thrilling game of cat and mouse through the city's seedy underbelly. For those of you who have watched it, let me know what you thought below. Thank you so much for watching. Have a fabulous evening and a great weekend. Take care until next time. Bye, everyone.